Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today we're going to talk Tesla in the news. Now, it's not any surprise to see Tesla in the news. It seems like they're in the news nearly every day, but there's a lot of exciting things happening recently. And four things specifically we're going to talk about today. Delays with the Model 3 and the Model Y. They're what's quickly becoming their flagship vehicles. Almost 80% of their 500,000 delivered vehicles last year consisted of the Model 3 and the Model Y. So coming into 21, they would have done everything they can to prevent something like this from happening. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about some Cybertruck updates, potentially Q4 deliveries of this year for it, for something that we've been waiting for 3 years now. Full self-driving beta, version 2, 8.3, that Elon kind of tweeted out and launched to the masses and kind of threw out to the wolves there. We'll talk about that as well. And then also some actual in the wild sightings of the Model S refresh with the yoke steering wheel and the interior updates that we've been talking about. And we'll touch a little bit on the Fremont Factory fire as kind of a bonus. So sit back, relax. You're watching the Tall Tesla Guy. So we're going to start out with the Fremont Factory fire. This is the bonus part of it, but we'll jump right into it anyway. So it actually, apparently, this was the other day, there was a fire that shut down the line. So, the Model Y and the Model 3 are predominantly produced at the Fremont Factory. Outside of everything that's been happening with chip delays, with over demand and production issues, they had a fire there that shut down the line again. The fire was said to have been caused by molten aluminum that caught some hydraulic fluid on fire. Molten aluminum, maybe working towards more of a giga press, but we're not really sure on that part. But nonetheless, it shut down the line again. So on the heels of a fantastic year in 2020, coming into 21, they wanted to have the best year possible, and they've already had to shut down. They shut down the Model S and X line for almost a month. They shut down the 3 and the Y line for nearly a week, and then another delay like this. So who knows what's going to happen as we move forward in the year. I can say that last year they had a nearly month-long plant shutdown, and they were able to recover. They were able to turn it around and come back from it. So hopefully they'll be able to amp up production and get it back in line. Jumping right into the full self-driving beta, version 2, version 8.3. This is actually something that they rolled out last fall. They launched out with the beta version of full self-driving, and you guys saw online, I'm sure, that so many people jumped out that actually got it, that received it. This really small test group, considering all the people that have a Tesla. It ended up being about 1,000 people that got this delivery or got this ability to download it, allowing the car to do full self-driving. Now, there's lots of quotes around that anyway, because it's not technically full self-driving. You still have to be present and aware and able to take over that sort of stuff. In fact, Elon emphasized that over and over again, I think because he's getting a lot of regulatory pressure by the NHTSA. Kind of a tricky, even in Elon world, it's kind of a tricky play on words to dance around full self-driving. But nonetheless, he launched it out again, and he was trying to expand the test group. This is really a way for Tesla to test the capability, the functionality of this software, of this ability for the cars without having to use their own people to do it. They can actually use the customers for, which is a fantastic idea, and it's a great thought for sure. But by just simply tweeting out there, hey, if you want to let us know, they overwhelmed the system. There were 20,000 people that responded, saying sign me up for it, let's get it going. People were requesting service appointments to get this added, all this sort of stuff. So he quickly, about a day later anyway, responded back to his original tweet to say, if it's something that you want, within the next 10 days, we are going to put an option in your vehicle under the service section where you can select sign me up, download it now, that sort of thing. So waiting to see that in the wild, but I know a few people have actually gotten it, a few of the Tesla clubs. So, it'll be exciting to see what comes out of that, but supposedly it's going to be, a fundamental redesign from the previous version, the previous beta version. So still beta, but nonetheless that much better. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see if more people can get it so we can see it, see what it's changed, see what it looks like, see what it can do, that sort of thing. But exciting stuff nonetheless. And it was an interesting way for Elon to let the, millions of Tesla owners know that, hey, you can do this if you flood our calls and our emails and stuff like that, especially since they don't have a PR department. The Cybertruck Redesign. Elon talked about the Cybertruck. We've been knowing about it for a couple of years, ever since they smashed out the window with a ball bearing during the live display. He did a test and actually drove it through the boring tunnel in California, and it barely fit. It was a couple inches on each side before it wouldn't even fit in his tunnel. So I think what that did, in addition to the fact that it doesn't fit in a normal garage, it's too big, made him kind of rethink the redesign just a little bit. He was supposedly going to reduce it by 3 to 5%. Now that's not a lot, and it probably still won't fit in a lot of standard garages, but it was something that, you know, kind of spurred. And the exciting part about that is he's actually taking into consideration some of the real life applications of this vehicle and real life uses of it to say that, you know, maybe we need to make some changes. You know, without changing the design of it. I wish it was a little less radical than it is myself, but a lot of people liked it. A lot of people, to the tune of 950,000 reservations for this vehicle. So if even half of them actually come through and order this, it will be the largest produced vehicle that Tesla's ever had, which is amazing, especially for something that we've never actually seen. So, you know, more to come on that. In fact, Elon said that by Q2, updated design, and then by Q4, we could potentially have people actually receiving this vehicle, which maybe that's Elon time. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually Q1 of next year or sometime next year, but who knows? Elon's been a little bit closer. He's been, you know, under promising, over delivering versus the other, the way he used to do things. So I don't know if that's because there's no PR department and he's just kind of taken over, or he's just trying to be more realistic about it. But nonetheless, he said by the end of the year, we could potentially have somebody with a Cybertruck in their hands. And then this leads us to the Model S, right? The Model S redesign and refresh. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I thought it was a welcome change to everything that they had before. It's been 2013 when the original Model S launched. There's only been slight variations and changes on the actual design of the vehicle since then. So 7-8 years, well overdue. Now the majority of the redesign comes on the inside of the vehicle, not really the outside. It's a little bit wider on the body. There's a couple of bigger cameras, stuff like that, but an untrained eye isn't really going to notice the difference on the outside. What you're going to see is the inside, right? There's more trim. It's a little more luxurious looking. There's 3 screens now. You still have the heads-up display behind the steering wheel. They took the screen that was in the center, your regular infotainment screen, and they turned it horizontal, which is actually something that we thought was coming anyway. Having the screen sideways, they also have a rear-facing screen, which is completely new. Now, he touted it as a screen for the back people to play games while they're driving. It's pretty low on the ground, so you would be kind of craning your neck to play, but nonetheless, you can control your own features back there. The seat warmers, the airflow, the temperature for the back, all that sort of stuff. You have a couple more things like some wireless chargers in the back, stuff like that. It looks like a little bit of a redesign on the seats, and then more side compartments and cubbies and stuff like that. So, I mean, you can't talk about the new Model S without talking about the yoke steering wheel. Some people just completely, you know, threw their computers away when they saw it because it was a terrible idea, and some people just loved it as something different and new. It makes me feel like I'm in a race car, people said. So originally, they launched it as your only option as a yoke steering wheel. And then they came out with yoke, but maybe a round one. We saw some live views of the vehicle, and it looks like there's a round one. Made us think that maybe it's going to be an option. And TSA also said, we're not even sure if that's legal to have a yoke steering wheel. So, you know, those things aside, they would have to kind of dance around that a little bit as well. So, you know, having the option of the regular steering wheel or the yoke steering wheel is kind of exciting, especially on a vehicle, the Plaid Plus anyway, that has, you know, promised 500 plus miles of range and a 0 to 60 in under 1.9 seconds. So, you know, stuff like that is super exciting to come. Elon even said that the new Model S's are going to be coming out now. We feel like at least the Model S long range and maybe the Plaid, but not the Plaid Plus. So without having to need the 4680 battery, just at least the 2 versions of the Model S are launching now. They have an estimated delivery of, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, which is on par with everything else. But you know, the Model S is potentially going to be coming out in Q2, which isn't too many weeks from now. However, the Plaid Plus, if you decided to place an order for that one, it says estimated delivery of 22. So he's actually put some realistic timeframes on that. He knows that the 4680 battery isn't going to be something that comes out this year. It's not going to be something that comes out within the spring, summer kind of time frame. So he's even, you know, shot it out further to say, hey, we'll just plan for it next year. Leave me alone. Don't bother me about it. So, you know, more to come on that as we move through the year, more to come on that as we get into next year and we actually see some produced. And then on a final touch for the Model S, they've actually seen in the wild a rear-facing jump seat. It's a 2-seater for the back of it. Now, some of you might remember this from the original launch of the Model S. They had, it was actually a 7-seater. In fact, Elon talked about driving across the country with his kids and having his kids, 2 of them in the back. It doesn't seem like it would be a full-size adult. It would be more or less for, you know, children, stuff like that. But, You know, nonetheless, it's neat to have the option. People got excited about the 7-seater Model Y. I know people buy the 7-seater Model X, so why not put 7 seats in the Model S if you can? But it's exciting that they're innovating, they're going back to their roots a little bit. I mean, there's so much happening with Tesla, there's so much happening in the EV world, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna keep you guys up to date on everything that happens, everything that I find out. And if you guys haven't already, think about hitting that like button, think about subscribing. We put down videos at least once a week and talk about everything from everything that's going on with Tesla with just about anything else. So hope you guys have a fantastic day, have a fantastic week, and you're staying safe out there. Thanks for watching, everybody.